This is TWiT.
The PlayStation 5 Pro is $700, and I think that's insane. That's just wild to me. Yeah, Padre, thoughts on this thing?
Okay, so yes, it's a lot of money. It really is a lot of money.
So much money. Yeah,
it is so much money. However, I am of the PC master race generation, and I will spend 3 times as much as that to build my perfect rig. So I mean, I'm not going to hate on it. I will say that between the $700 PS5 and the sub $700 top of the line Steam Deck, I'm taking the Steam Deck every single time.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, you can say, well, but Sony's got the games. Well, if you've got the games and you've got the regular PS5, you don't need this. This isn't. They keep talking about how they're going to add textures. Textures haven't really changed in the last 5 years. The quality of the game and how it looks and plays hasn't really changed in the last 5 years. So this seems to be a refresh that is only appealing to the people who want bragging rights, which I hate.
Bragging rights also, I guess, the ability to run essentially like 60 FPS, but also with the good graphics from the quality settings. Like the PlayStation 5 Pro is what, 4 years old at this point, or the PlayStation 5 is 4 years old at this point. And that whole generation, like everybody is saying, like we'll have 4K quality graphics, we will have things like ray tracing, we will have 60 FPS. The problem is you can't get it all at the same time, right? The first run of Xbox Series X titles and PlayStation 5 titles all had the performance versus quality choice. You could have the quality setting when I played Spider-Man Miles Morales, like you can have nice ray tracing, better lighting, better textures and stuff, 4K rendering. It wasn't always 4K, but you could have the ray tracing, 30 FPS. But if you get rid of the ray tracing, if you get rid of the large graphical load stuff, you can play a much smoother 60 FPS version of the game. And it makes a huge difference for Spider-Man, where you're swinging around the city and you want to move quickly, you want to move smoothly. Like, I felt the difference there. And I think that was one of the first things that really cooled me on this entire generation. It's like we were supposed to get 4K gaming with a 60 FPS. I never thought that was totally possible. I'm more of a PC gamer, but I'm like a practical PC gamer. Like don't need me some 4K. Just give me 1440p, good 1440p, but a good frame rate, a good solid frame rate, and also get me the graphical stuff that you can fit in alongside that. Anthony, is this all Greek to you? Do you understand why? Like what even like?
I mean, the only thing with numbers that I understood was $700, which
$700 bad
is not. I don't know. I mean, it's less than an iPhone. I will say. Since Padre brought up a Steam Deck, I will say the other times I've been on TWiT and console gaming has come up, I've just been like embarrassed that I have nothing, and now I can say that I do have a Steam Deck.
Yay!
And right. I'm very happy about that.
Wait, did you get one of the discounted units?
No, I did not. No, I got it was I can't even remember what the upgraded the new generation but slightly better.
The OLED.
Yeah,
because they've got the 500 gigabyte decent model for like $350 now.
That's insane.
That's crazy. Yeah.
With the old LCD screen.
With the old, correct.
That's still a good screen. Still pretty. I think that was an IPS screen. Still good stuff. But yeah, my thinking is like this PlayStation 5 Pro. It's not for everybody. It's certainly for a very niche type of PlayStation player. But also, it's been 4 years since the PlayStation 5 launch, and it just feels like, I don't know. Okay, you get a better GPU. I'm also surprised they didn't really. It is mainly a GPU upgrade in many ways. I don't believe it's a CPU upgrade. So you're running a better GPU on essentially the same CPU. Seems weird to have that essentially 4 years later. A couple other things. Doesn't have a disk drive. So I feel like
you can buy it separately. Yeah,
you can buy it separately for a lot of money. But the pro level player who would go for something like this would probably also want a disk drive too. So this is not really a $700 device. This is that money plus the cost of the disk drive. I have to look that up again, but it's more than I'd want to pay for a standalone disk drive.
And Keith's 512 in the Discord room is saying that it's still not 4K. It's upscaled. So they're just using the GPU power to upscale. Exactly. So, and actually, I remember at the very beginning when the rumors of this version were coming out, there was a whole group saying that, oh, it's going to support 8K, native 8K. I'm thinking there's no possible way. Are you out of your minds?
It's they did say it would support 8K in some instances. I remember 8K was a thing that was on the box.
Like the test pattern. It will support an 8K.
It will support a test pattern. That is the whole. Once we start talking about super high resolutions, yes, folks, it is clear. Yes, this is not native 4K rendering. There's no RTX 4090 in this system. It sounds like it's a higher level AMD GPU that's happening now, like a newer version of AMD's hardware. But also, you know what AMD's hardware has been really bad at? Stuff like ray tracing, stuff like playing in 4K natively too. So just kind of rough. I mean, this is it's the best console experience somebody can buy, so I can understand that.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, you could build a gaming PC for close to that." Not really, because like the GPUs you really want to buy are like
the GPU would be
$600 alone. Yeah,
exactly.
So that's $500 to $600 for a GPU, $300 to $400 for the CPU, plus everything else. So you're spending $1,500 to $2,000 for a good gaming computer, basically. And I can see the appeal here. It does make me wonder, do you guys think like the PlayStation 6, whenever that appears, I guess this almost sets a new baseline price. Like I would not be surprised if PlayStation 6 was just like, hey, $600. That's what we're doing now, at the very least, right? They've done it before. It didn't work out well for them before, but you know.
Well, I have sort of a basic question, which is, has there been sort of that pro kind of tier or model for previous? And has that price difference been roughly the same?
There was a PlayStation 4 Pro, and there were also like the newer Xboxes as well.
Correct.
The Xbox One X. And
right, of course, yeah.
So that did happen. They did have a slight premium, but the Pro was like $400, right? Mm-hmm. Like it was not. We did not get past $500. So yeah, this is a whole new territory. It reminds me of like, I don't know, the 3DO era. I remember that thing. That thing was $700 in the 90s. That thing was
awesome. Yeah.
I don't know if awesome is the word I'd use, but I remember it being $700 in the 90s.
Awesome in the sense that they were literally taking the hardware out of arcade machines and dropping it into your living room. It wasn't an emulation. It was, no, that's the hardware. Just put it in there. That's why it was so expensive. Just put it in there.
I mean, Neo Geo was that for me. Like, I could see why Neo Geo was so expensive. Yeah.
I think whether or not this becomes the new price point is going to depend on how Microsoft and more likely Nintendo respond. Mm-hmm. If they look at this and they say, hey, if people are willing to spend $700 plus on a top tier PS5, then the next Nintendo Switch Uber Duber, whatever they're going to call it, is going to go for $600. And Microsoft releases their next Xbox and it sells for $1,000. So that will determine whether or not this pricing point is sustainable. I don't want to
feel like we're creeping there. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. We are definitely creeping, and I don't want to dump all over the console heads. If you play PS5 games and you love PS5 games, this will be a better experience. Mm-hmm. And if you've got the cash, it will be. But I mean, as a casual gamer, there's no.
No. Well, as a casual gamer, you have so many other better options now too. Like if you want to dabble in PC gaming, get a Steam Deck. You can hook that up to TV, dock it to TV, and still have a pretty good experience. You mentioned a couple of things there, Padre. Like there is a new Xbox Series X, which is $600, has a 2 terabyte drive, but also is just an Xbox Series X in a slightly sparklier color, I believe is the thing. I don't think Nintendo will ever do this. I think Nintendo is a company where I'm looking like, I could see a hard line for them, $400, maybe creeping up to that point. But the PS5 Pro is not going to be a system for everybody. I don't think anything past 600 is going to be for everybody. And Nintendo's whole pitch is like, you know, we make a thing that everybody, it's family gaming. Everybody can buy it. I bought the OLED Switch like an idiot because I wanted the best looking Switch games that I could.
How do you like it? I was thinking about it.
I love it. Listen, it's way too expensive, and also we are going to learn more about a new Switch hopefully soon. But playing, Tears of the Kingdom on an OLED screen, playing like any of those games where there's so much bold color and everything. Like I'm an OLED fanatic, so if you put OLED in something, I will probably like lean towards getting it. Yeah. OLED just looks better. But yeah, I could see Nintendo going to 400, but never, because they're not chasing the same hardware. They're chasing a whole different vibe of like, we want portable gaming meets actual console gaming. I could see Nintendo doing some weird stuff. Maybe being like, okay, it's 400 now, but also the dock adds a little more graphical power or something. Like
that's the show title. Put an OLED in it.
Put an OLED in it, baby. Sold. But I do feel like for the Xbox and for PlayStation, yeah, $600 doesn't seem like it's that out of the question, because
it should be, though. It really should. We gotta stop. The
GPUs are expensive. Like, GPUs are expensive. Hardware has gotten more expensive. The processing, the actual ability to even create these tools, this hardware, it's harder now. Like, it's harder to ship this stuff. They're aiming for finer nanometers now. Like, the actual design process of these chips is tougher. So I guess realistically, I buy that more than games creeping up to like $70-$80, Yeah.
It also just makes me wonder if that as like prices creep upwards, you start to see more tiering as well, and you get more like basic console pro, and then maybe there's an additional level above that to get the really high like big spenders.
I can see that.
We kind of have that. I mean, there's the mobile gamers, so the people who only game on their phones. There's the people who are using Steam to play games like me, which is casual FPS, mostly strategy and RTS type games. And then there's the sort of the Twitch players, the real first person shooter players who are going to go for the consoles. So yeah, I mean, I know where my comfort point is. I know the type of machine and the type of hardware I need, and I do not need top of the line. It's fun when I get to review a top of the line and I get to see what all the candy looks like when I turn it on. But that's not my gaming experience. So and I know that about myself. I don't need top tier graphics. I don't need a crazy frame refresh rate. I just need a game that's going to engage me for 20 hours.
And in that case, Steam Deck works perfectly. Like, Steam Deck's hardware is, again, AMD hardware too, I believe, right? So it plays most of the games. Anthony, I'd recommend to you Tactical Breach Wizards as a great game to look into. Breach Wizards. It's a great fiction game. It's a world where magic is like real, and also they use it for military stuff, and it's a tactics game too. So that's my shout out for the week.
Wait, Anthony, what kind of games do you like?
I mean, mostly old adventure and RPG games. I mean, I've spent like 150 hours now on Baldur's Gate 3. That's been most of my gaming this year. Yeah.
Are you like a Sim City type person?
I'm Civilization more than Sims.
Civ. Okay. If you like Civ, look up a game called Oxygen Not Included by Klei. Klei. It's always on sale. Just try it. Play it for 10 hours and see if it catches.
Just an easy 10 hours.
Just play for 10 hours.
10 hours is like 1 day. So
I'm very happy with my Steam Deck. I will say that now I am starting to be like, maybe I should get a console, because, now that people are like, I know, Devindra, you never gave up on Blu-rays, but now I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, I guess I should have like Blu-rays, and I don't want to just buy a separate Blu-ray player. Maybe I should just get a PlayStation.
Maybe, I mean, they're going to get cheaper. Well, actually, no, they raised the prices. So, no, even the base PlayStation has gotten more expensive in Japan and elsewhere. So, this is a crazy generation that we're living in now, too. Shout out, also, Anthony, shout out to Disco Elysium. I feel like that's a game I've probably recommended to you.
About that.
That is up your alley. Like old school adventure games with great writing and stuff. Just good stuff.
Hey, thank you for watching this little snippet from our big show, the News Roundtable, This Week in Tech. I'm Leo Laporte. Each week we cover the week's tech news, in-depth analysis, but it's also fun and engaging. You'll find it at twit.tv along with all of our shows. And if you want more, just hit the subscribe button, and we'll be sure to bring you a lot more great content. Thanks for listening.